It's that time again here in the UK, and I'm sure lots of you out there have been scrambling around and digging out your running head torches or headlamps if you're in a different part of the world. We recently reviewed the UT27 800 lumens from Nightcore, a brand that's featured on the channel quite a few times over the years. But in today's video, we're taking a look at a brand that's relatively new to that sort of running head torch scene, but they are making some big waves with Kilian, Jornet and Zach Miller using their head torches, and I'm definitely seeing them become more and more popular. So it is the Moonlight Bright As 800 performance head torch. Welcome back folks, I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure. Thanks for joining us for another video. It's great to have you along. Now I know us Brits are renowned for going on and on and on about the weather, but I gotta be honest, I'm not a fan of when the clocks go back and we've got these really sort of early dark evenings. It's getting dark down here in Cornwall at about 4:30 in the afternoon, and I'm really missing those sort of long, sunny, balmy summer evenings. And roll on summer, that's what I say, but I know we've got a long spell of dark nights as we work through winter, and I do actually enjoy getting out on the trails and running with a head torch. So let's give you a few facts and figures about the Moonlight 800, and then I'll tell you all about how the head torch has performed over the last 3 or 4 weeks. So let's start off with what you get in the box. And actually, first of all, speaking of the box, comes with this nice sort of subtle branding from the Norwegian brand, and it's got a magnetic sort of closure on it, which I find very satisfying, and I could literally sort of play around with that all day. But anyway, so yeah, inside the cool box, if I put it down and open it up, we've got obviously the head torch unit itself, and it actually comes in this free sort of neoprene protective case, which I think is a really nice touch by the brand. So if we unzip the case, it reveals obviously the headlamp unit itself. We've also got the adjustable head strap. You've got the rechargeable battery. You also get a USB-C cable for charging it up, but Moonlight also throw in this handy 1 meter long extension cable. So you can actually attach this to the battery rather than having that battery velcroed to your head strap. You can stow it away in your hydration pack or race vest, so making the overall weight of the torch a lot lighter, but also keeping that battery nice and warm if you're running in cold conditions, which can really help prolong that burn time. And last but not least, you get a very simple user's guide there, so not a lot of information on that, and just highlights how simple it is to use the Moonlight head torch. So the unit itself retails in the UK for £145. The torch, the head strap and that rechargeable battery weigh in at 248 grams. Although if you do choose to use that extension cable and remove the battery from the head strap, the front unit only weighs in at 54 grams because it's constructed from lightweight aluminium. Speaking of the battery, and it is a fully rechargeable 4600 milliamp battery. We've got a USB-C port for charging built into that unit. And actually this time round, Moonlight have redesigned the casing to include this new screw lock system, but they've also increased the runtime of that battery by 25%. So even with the torch set at its very bright max setting of 800 lumens, you can now get 2 hours of burn time. As far as the output goes, you get 4 different settings. So number 1 will give you 40 lumens. So okay for a bit of walking, bit of hiking maybe, or a bit of camping. Definitely not bright enough for any running, but you will get an impressive 40 hours of burn time. And then on number 2, you get 200 lumens, but it really does seem like a very bright 200 lumens, you know, brighter than any other 200 lumen head torch that I've ever used. And that's the setting that I've probably used the most over the last 3 or 4 weeks. And on number 2, you'll get a pretty impressive 8 hours of runtime. And moving on to number 3, you get 400 lumens and 4 hours. And then we've obviously got the max output setting of 800 lumens, super bright light, and you're gonna get around 2 hours of battery life there. What you got to remember with the Moonlight torches is all these figures that I'm giving you are for constant power. So by that I mean, if you do switch this torch up to that max 800 lumen setting, then you're going to get 800 lumens for the duration. It's not going to sort of dip down in lumens to try and cool itself like a lot of other running head torches do. they've achieved this by using this sort of aluminium bladed system on the light itself, just to avoid any overheating issues. As well as the 4 lighting modes, you've also got a handy beacon mode and SOS mode. So with the light turned on any setting, just a quick double click on that top button will activate the flashing beacon mode, and then another double click on that button will give you the SOS mode. Hopefully you're never going to have to use that, but it's just nice knowing you've got it just in case you do get in any difficulties. It also comes with a waterproof rating of IP67, so it is weather sealed, so it's going to stand up to, you know, sort of splashes or heavy rain or running in really moist conditions. So perfect for the UK conditions at the moment. Moonlight recommend that you disconnect the battery after every run, so when you go to get your torch again and plug it back in for your next run, that is where you're going to see your battery indicator. So if you get a constant blue LED light, that means you've got 100 to 80% battery left. If you get a flashing blue, that means 80 to 50%. If you get a flashing red, then that means you've got 30% battery to 0. Once the battery gets down to 10%, the torch is going to flash 3 times just to let you know, and then it's going to drop down to 5% constant power. The head strap itself is super sturdy and fully adjustable, but we've also got the addition of the top strap as well. We've got adjustment either side of the battery pack and on that top strap, so loads of adjustability so you can get it set up just to your liking. The side straps got a really wide profile and lots of internal rubber grippers worked all the way around, just to make sure that that head torch stays nice and stable when you're out there running. Both the battery plate and lamp plate have a nice curve to them, so they contour to the shape of your head really well. And up front we've got the added bonus of a very soft rubberized pad, just for a bit of extra comfort if you're wearing the head torch for long periods of time. But there you have it, the very robust, really well engineered Moonlight Bright As Day 800 lumens performance head torch. But let's finish up with a conclusion and find out how the light has performed on the trails of Cornwall over the last few weeks. First up, all the positive stuff, and this is a really well constructed running head torch, and I just love the sort of simplicity of the whole unit. You know, there's no gimmicks, there's no fancy this, fancy that, there's no mucking around. It is definitely built for purpose and looks like and feels like it could hold up to absolutely anything that you throw at it. The fact that it's got those 4 lighting outputs that all give you constant power, so if you need 200 lumens or you need a super bright light of 800 lumens, that max setting, you are going to get that for the duration of your run. And it really couldn't be any easier to flick through those settings while you're out there on the move, just by using this nice big and easy to reach button on top of the unit. The tilt adjustment on the lamp has been brilliant using this GoPro mount, so you can literally set it up to exactly where you want it and then lock it into place with the side screw. The other bonus of it being a GoPro mount is you can actually unclip the whole front unit and use it on a completely different setup, whether it be your cycling helmet when you're out there mountain biking on the trails, or on a climbing helmet when you're mountaineering. So it really does make the Moonlight head torch very versatile. I really like the comfort levels of the straps, and with all that adjustability, it's allowed me to set the torch up just right for my head shape. Believe it or not, it's the first time I've run with a head torch with a top strap, and I think with the whole unit weighing in at 248 grams, this top strap is definitely needed just for that bit of added security. However, if you choose to use the lamp with that extension cable and you have the battery pack in your race vest, then that top strap is easy to remove if you don't need it. And in fact, all the straps are really easy to move, so another great attention to detail, because that makes it a lot easier when it comes to cleaning or washing them. Personally, another attention to detail that I really like is the fact that Moonlight include that 1 meter extension cable and the very handy protective zipped neoprene case. I know there's a lot of other brands out there that would definitely charge you extra for those 2 items. I also like the fact that the light output seems very, very bright. I honestly don't think I'd ever need the 800 lumen max setting, because the 200 and 400 lumens are very bright themselves, and you really do get a nice flood of light from that 2 bulb setup. So lots of positivity, that's for sure, when it comes to the Moonlight unit. However, at 248 grams, it is a pretty heavy running head torch, and I totally get it. You need a big, powerful battery just to give you that light, especially when it's running on constant power. I think I'd definitely choose to use the extension cable and get that battery stowed away in my race vest if I was using the light for any long periods of time. That really does make a massive difference to the overall weight, but it also gets a lot of that weight off your head. I would even consider getting the more powerful 9600 milliamp rechargeable battery that Moonlight produce, because that's going to massively increase the burn time. So if you're running any sort of tough winter ultras running through the night, you're probably not going to have to change your batteries over. And if you're using that extension cable, putting the battery in your race vest, it's not going to add any weight either. However, the replacement batteries are pretty expensive. So the same battery that you get with the unit, that 4600 milliamp battery, retails for 79 euros, whereas the more powerful 9600 milliamp costs 100 euros. It's always handy to have a sort of red light feature on your running head torches, just for any of that close proximity stuff. And unfortunately, you don't get one on this unit. I also think it would be good to see a more practical battery indicator worked in. So at the moment, you have to disconnect and plug the battery back in to see how much battery life you've got left, which does make it a little bit awkward when you're out there on the trail. So maybe a simpler sort of battery indicator system, just to make it a bit easier to check your battery life when you're on the move. So wrapping up, and I've been really impressed with lots of things when it comes to the Moonlight Bright As Day 800. Fantastic build quality, super bright output, lots of adjustability, and I just really like the simplicity of use. So if you do lots of running on the trails at night, or you take on lots of challenging sort of trail or mountain ultras, and you're looking for a robust, bright, super dependable running head torch, then I would definitely recommend checking out the Moonlight 800 in a bit more detail. Yeah, it's not the cheapest running head torch on the market, but you definitely get what you pay for. The brand actually has an extensive range of headlamps, with the Bright As Day 800 being their most popular unit. They've also got a 1300 lumen option if you wanted to go brighter. They've even got headlamps going up to 4000 lumens, which is just bonkers. It must be like having a lighthouse on your head. It must be crazy bright. But I've left a link in the description below for the Moonlight website if you do want to check their range out in a bit more detail. But that brings today's video to a close. So really hope you've enjoyed it. If you are looking for a new running head torch, I really hope you found it helpful. If you have, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And we've also got some other great running head torch content on the channel, so I'll link those videos down in the description below as well. But for now guys, thanks for watching, it's really appreciated. We'll be back on the channel with some new exciting running content very soon, and as always, stay safe and keep on running. Welcome back folks, I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure. Thanks for joining us for a video? No. I really do miss those long, sunny, sort of balmy summer evenings, and roll on summer, just highlighting how simple it is to use if you get a red flashing light, that means 30% to 0.